Good afternoon. And tomorrow morning and until further notice, we will be worshiping online through YouTube. We're going to put the link in an email that will go out to you in just a little bit. I want to say thank you to all of you who are being the church, even as we cannot gather physically as the church together. I have noticed that your care for one another and your prayers and encouragement for the sick and your acts of kindness for the isolated and those in need have continued to show me what an extraordinary congregation God has called me to serve in the church at such a time as this. I have always had the sense, since arriving here a little bit more than 2.5 years ago, that I've had a great privilege of serving Darnestown Presbyterian at this moment in our congregation's story, to embark on this project here and to build a tool for mission for this congregation now and for a future generation, as well as our own. It demonstrates a tremendous foundation, a firm foundation of faith that God is leading us through the deep waters of this time and into the future. I'm standing just a few feet from where we placed a time capsule for future generations beneath these chancel steps. I wrote a poem for those who will open it, perhaps 100 years from now, and people who've not yet been born. But by the time it's opened, this virus and our efforts to slow it down will be but a few lines, perhaps a few pages in the world history books. But I believe we're living through a critical time in the story of this congregation. The resilience and love and kindness and faith that you all have been demonstrating in the midst of a health crisis and economic upheaval. It will set a template for the future. This is the moment that we will look back to if we ever doubt that God has equipped us with every good gift that's needed. This is the moment that a future generation can look back on and draw courage and that extra measure of faith that every congregation needs from time to time to get it through the challenging circumstances. You will be the generation of which people say, if they could do it, so can we. If God led them through the pandemic, then God will lead us through any wilderness time. When I wrote this poem last October, I had no inkling of our present context, but I hope you will find it helpful now. If you read this 100 years from now, it's unlikely anyone remains who can remember us, who would endow this capsule with tokens of our campaign. Let me suggest you peer into the past, look upon the headlines from our daily news, then sort through these keepsakes we have amassed, some photos, video, and interviews. Here you will find that in this anxious age, we did our best to follow in the steps of the Prince of Peace against the outrage of a world by anxiety possessed. We pray that you who find the contents here now live in faith, in peace, and without fear. See you all virtually tomorrow. God bless.